In a previous podcast, you said that it is wrong to go against nature by undergoing a sex change because the metaphysically given is absolute. But by this definition, gender is not metaphysically given because we can now change it if we so choose. I reiterate that the nature of man is immutable. Of course, there are freaks in every species, but you don't define the nature of a species by reference to freaks. You cannot change the sexuality of a person. You cannot change a woman into a man and vice versa, no matter what hormones and what surgery. They end up lacking certain crucial capacities of either sex. And the best example of this is to see what kind of sex lives they live, what kind of pleasurable experiences they can get from sex. And from what I can tell, from what I've read, they simply mimic the sex act because they don't have the pleasure part connected to the nervous system. Nature does give us an either-or metaphysical absolute. If you say, well, I don't like nature's choice, I want to be the other sex, you are rebelling against nature, against reality. Now, let me say this. If it were true that by some kind of magic, you could take a man and transform him into a woman, okay. I mean, I can't oppose that. But there is no such magic. We're talking about in reality. All you can do in reality is remove, destroy, mutilate. Now, you're thinking of this as an example of rebelling against reality. This is an exact parallel to the sex change. There are parents, somebody just sent me this article, who have had a child. They will not release whether it's male or female. And they have decided to bring the child up in such a way that the child has no idea which he is, and he will choose when he reaches maturity which he wants to be. You know, it's a parallel to people who don't say anything about religion or atheism, and then when the kid's 18, they say, okay, go ahead, you study and pick. But in this case, what do they have to do to keep him ignorant of what is in fact an absolute? They have to, what? Conceal his or her genitalia? Or tell them that doesn't really matter, that's got nothing to do with sexuality? They can't remove them because what if that's the way the kid chooses? They're going to have to give them the same clothes, or they give them the opposite clothes? Are they going to promote like 50% dolls and 50% machine guns? I mean, to me, no possible result of this except a dead kid. He's completely finished because they're trying to take a non-absolute position. They're trying to say something inherent in the nature of man. He's male or he's female, and suspend it. That is just another version of trying to reverse it, and both are just as corrupt. If you asked me, any of you remember Elon, the kid that got to Florida and then Clinton forced him to go back to Castro, and we all bewailed the fact of how, what a disastrous life he would have. This kid brought up by these parents, in my opinion, would have a worse life than being sent under a communist dictatorship.